Hello, beautiful people of the internet. My name is Ryan, and welcome back to the Forgotten City. Oh boy, I'm so excited to record a little bit more of this game. Hey, let's test my reading comprehension and see if I can fill you in on what's happened so far in this game. Welcome to the Forgotten City, a place that exists in the past, potentially, where the 23 and maybe 22, depending on who you listen to, people who live here must obey the golden rule, meaning if one person sins, then all people die. It's an ancient, forgotten Roman city. I've just spoke to the magistrate, Sentius. I've been brought from the future into the past to find the person who is going to break the golden rule, prevent it from happening, and therefore prevent myself from being needed to travel into the past, therefore solving the paradox of why I'm here, meaning I won't be here. I don't know. It's a little bit confusing, and I love it. I love it so far. Welcome. Here's what we know. First off, my goal is to go to the Shrine of Apollo and speak to Lucretia. Find out what's distressing Lucretia. However, that's my current lead. However, my overall goal is, it sounds like, to invest. Maybe this is a Sherlock Holmesian, Nancy Drew-ish game where I investigate the 22 or 23 people who live in this city, and sort of like navigate dialogue to find out the truth. Piece together people's different versions of events. I'm not sure. That version of the game exists in my head right now, and that's like what I'm considering to be my goal. But then I just remembered that in the last episode I could have chosen to bring a gun in here, and I'm like, wait, really? Can I really just have a gun and just be like, I think you're bad. Pow, pow, pow. I don't know. I can't wait to find out exactly what type of game this is. Tab to check your quest and inventory. Cool. We have an inventory. We have an inventory here. Point of origin. I've traveled thousands of years. Oh, we should read this. I've traveled thousands of years into the past. I'll need to find a way back to my original timeline somehow. Created time paradox. According to Sentius, I'll be flung back to my own time if I can create a paradox. That's what I was saying. I'll need to change history in a way that makes my being in the past impossible. For example, Sentius says, if I prevent the sin that breaks the golden rule, then he'll never create the portal. It'll be impossible for me to be in the past, which is a paradox. That's the part that is a little confusing to me right now, is that it's not all that confusing. Apparently, Sentius, like, sacrifices himself, hypothetically, and then I appear in the city 20 minutes ago or a couple days ago, like, in the past of his... It's confusing. Anyways. The golden rule. Figure out who's most likely to break the golden rule and inform Sentius. Seems everyone in the city is going to die because of one person breaking the golden rule. I need to figure out who that is. To that end, Sentius asked me to talk to everyone and help them if it'll win their trust. He also authorized me to enter their homes and inspect their possessions and documents if necessary. He also said, until they tell you to leave. Optional, tell Sentius you suspect Cynthia. She seemed strangely relaxed about the disappearance of her sister Scintilla, until she didn't, all of a sudden. By the way, I watched back a couple pieces of the last recording so that I could clarify for myself what exactly I witnessed. And the Karen dialogue is really funny. Karen talks about how her life is one endless commute. And in hindsight, that's hilarious. She says something like, an endless commute from a job I don't like. Really great. Okay, let's start exploring. The other thing I watched back last episode was, I was under the impression, and I have it written down right here, that there are 23 people in the city with 3 people missing. But then Sentius in his dialogue said 22. I don't know if that refers to his daughter, to Scintilla, who's been missing for 3 weeks, and that's the missing one person. I don't know. Speaking of Scintilla, to Sentius, may Jupiter Optimus Maximus continue to protect and guide you. Thank you for making me your daughter and for the lovely birthday pendant. I promise I promise we'll wear it always. I feel so safe and fortunate to have you as my father and Cynthia as my sister. I sense you've been feeling apprehensive about the election next month, but if you can just show them the strong and dependable man I know you to be, you'll be reelected. I'm sure of it. So Scintilla was adopted. That's another thing that's happening is the election. That's the other thing that's happened. This place has been... Oh, it says next page. No, there's no next page. Okay. This place has existed for like 7 months. We're going to do a little bit of exploring here before we leave. This place has existed for like for 7 months, and yet there are also still golden people around, right? Meaning, hypothetically, that a version of this like city has maybe existed in... These are all the thoughts that are going through my head. Maybe there's a version of the city that has existed in the past, and then this is the like second or third iteration. I'm not sure. That said, where I came from, my present, the people were all turned to gold. So apparently we failed. But then if I succeed, will that change? I don't know. A Lararium, a small household shrine where ancient Romans offered daily prayers for protection. Is this where Sentius prays to Jupiter Optimus Prime? Ooh, 246 denarius. No, no, we're not going to steal that. That would get me... I mean, if I steal, that's a sin, right? And then all of a sudden, we're all dead. If you want to speed run losing the game, that might be the way to do it. Okay. So, Horatius, we've already talked to.
On your best behavior, I trust?
Of course, as always.
What now?
We're going to get to this shrine, but we're going to talk to people along the way. What's your story?
I'm a legionary of the 1st Italica, but there's not a lot of fighting down here. So the magistrate has assigned me other duties.
Okay.
I act as the magistrate's right-hand man, keeping an eye on his daughters. Daughter, I should say. And the others, and making sure they're all behaving. I also keep a register of new arrivals.
Is your chin supposed to pop through your helmet like that? How'd you end up here?
I'm from Liguria, up north originally. I was doing all right for myself. 12 years into my service. Had a nice girl lined up for when it was all over. Not anymore. She's probably figured I'm long gone and moved on by now. I try not to think about it. My commander sent me to deliver a message to Rome. While I was there, I thought I'd do something nice for my girl. And pick up a little pendant from a silversmith. That's
Cursed
when
pendant?
the crowd started flooding through the streets, shouting fire.
No?
People were screaming, trampling each other. Then some Genetricum fugitor tried to take advantage of the chaos and pinch my pendant. I remember chasing him through the crowds, down towards the river. And then, nothing. Blacked out and woke up near here. No idea how I ended up floating so far downriver. But I'm fortunate to be alive, I suppose.
Okay, so what did we learn there? I don't know what a Genericum fututor is. My guess would be from context clues, it's a like class marker in ancient Rome. I'm not sure. People were talking about a fire. I'm starting to develop some theories, and I'm just going to say them out loud with the knowledge that I'm probably wrong on most of them. But that's how we get closer to the truth, is we say a bunch of incorrect things and then slowly cull away at them and shave them down to a truth. Is there a possibility that the people here were sort of removed from time and space right at the fall of Rome? Like at the very day? Like the fire that they're talking about there? Was Rome... Okay, this is the most... I'm going to do a small Google on my phone because I'm too curious and I can't remember. All I'm going to Google is Mount St. Helens. Was Rome destroyed by... Mount St. Helens is in Washington State. Mount Vesuvius. Is that what it is? Doesn't the, like, eruption of... Mount Vesuvius is on the southwestern coast of Italy. That's all I was looking for. Okay. I was always under the impression Rome was sort of crushed by the weight of its own empire, more than necessarily a natural disaster like the eruption of Mount Vesuvius, but maybe there's something there too. I don't really remember. I'm sorry to hear that.
Ah, don't be. As Seneca the Younger said, difficulty strengthens the mind, as labor does the body. That said, Sentilla's disappearance has been more difficult than I'd care to admit.
What can you tell me about the magistrate?
He's one of the better commanders I've ever had, that's for sure. Good stoic. Lives by Seneca's words. Treat your inferior as you would wish your superior to treat you. Can't ask for much more than that.
Okay, Horatius had a I'm gonna take some notes on my notebook here. Horatius had a cursed ? Pendant. His line about Sentilla's disappearance being really difficult. Is there something extra there, or just the fact that the person who you work for and the daughters who you're supposed to look over, they're missing? AKA, did he have like a crush or something, or an extra, or some extra involvement in that? Do you know a way out of here?
I went around asking the same questions when I first arrived. Never did find a way out. But I learned how to accept my situation. To bear trials with a calm mind robs misfortune of its strength and burden. That's from Seneca the Younger, if you're interested.
Quotes Seneca's. I love it. I wonder, I can't wait to have answers to all of these questions. I wondered if they all arrived at the same time. It sounds like this piece of evidence says no, right? 7 months ago or whatever, when they started this city. Because Horatius says, I walked around asking questions. Hypothetically, people would have to have been here and settled if you're going to ask them questions. Can I see the citizen register?
I don't see why not. Just make sure I get it back by tomorrow.
Oh, a handy dandy note-taking device. Thank you. Aurelia. Commoner. Aurelia is... Wait a second. I wrote down Valeria. I thought Aurelia was the person we saw that Galerius took us past. Commoner, tavern keeper, tavern and slum, claims to know a way out. Okay, interesting. Or was Aurelia the person who was very sad and talking doom and gloom? I don't know. We'll find out soon. Claudia, a patrician, wife of Malleolus. In the central villa, Decius. Okay, these are people we don't know. It's alphabetical. Domitius in the slum. Dulius, unable to work in the slum. Imprisoned in the warehouse. Equitia is a vestal priestess. Oh my gosh. Fabia, Galerius, who's a farmer who works. We knew that already. Georgius is a foreigner. Hannibal died in cistern ? Horatius, commander of the guard. So Horatius, you still live in the slum even though you work for Cynthius? Kabosh is a foreigner fisherman who has disappeared. Julia, the debt bondsman. Okay, we're just scanning here. Livia, hairdresser, refuses to work. Lucretia, that's who we're supposed to see. Malleolus does money lending in quotation marks, not to be trusted. So whose notes are these? What is our reading mode? Oh, interesting. Okay. Navia locked herself in palace. Rufius, increasingly agitated. Sentia, patrician, restricted to her villa for safety. Antilla's missing. Ulpius, debts bondsman. Virgil is an architect. Okay. Thank you.
Of course.
That'll be very helpful. Helpful. What do you think about the golden rule?
Well, As I always say, it's kind of like a divine version of the practice of decimation in the Legion. By threatening to execute 1 in 10 men, the idea is to ensure order and discipline among everyone. And it works. If you knew you could be executed because your brother-in-arms is planning a mutiny, well, you'd bloody well watch him like hundred-eyed Argus, wouldn't you? Because your only chance of saving yourself is to stop bad things before they happen. Makes us all responsible for keeping each other in check. It's brutal, of course, but effective. The Legion wouldn't be the most formidable force in the world without it.
Where I'm from, that would be considered collective punishment, which is a war crime. You're saying you're in favor of it for sure. Is this doing me any good? I don't know, but it's really an interesting dialogue option. Like, does this accomplish me anything? Probably not, but I'm going to say it anyways.
War crime. Isn't that a contradiction in terms? As Cicero said, in times of war the law falls silent.
Horatius, I kind of like you. I like that you're very learned. You've considered the wisdom of your elders for sure. Our worlds are very different.
Seems that way. War crimes. Ridiculous.
Are you saying you're in favor of the golden rule?
What's done is done. I was forced to execute my brothers in arms, and those memories will always visit me in my sleep. But life is harsh, and I've come to accept my lot. As with the golden rule, I don't have any control over it. So railing against it would be like trying to stop the seasons or the tides. As Seneca the Younger wrote, true happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future. Not to amuse ourselves with either hopes or fears, but to rest satisfied with what we have, which is sufficient. For he that is so wants nothing.
Oh man, I do really like this. I really like Horatius's leaning on these this wisdom from his elders. Okay, let's talk about something else.
If you like.
Who are you gonna vote for?
Not that it's any of your business, but my loyalty is and always will be with Sentius. Unfortunately, I don't think my vote is going to make any difference today. See, Domitius has been going around town, shoring up votes for Malleolus with lies, bribery, and intimidation. The man's a savage, but he's a gladiator, so people fear and respect him more than they should. Sentius knows about it, of course, but he doesn't have the same rat cunning as Malleolus. This place will be different with that sleaze at the helm. But I try not to worry about things I can't change.
We're playing an enormous game of Clue. Familiar with the game of Clue? You have to determine who the murderer was, in what room, with what weapon. We're playing an enormous game of Clue, except there are no hard facts, only citizens' opinions about each other. And it's a future crime that we have to stop, a future sin that we have to stop rather than a past one. Domitius is running around campaigning for Malleolus. According to Horatius, this is the world according to Horatius. Sentius is sort of above the fray and won't campaign in the dirt the way Malleolus and Domitius will. I'm going to say, can I help?
I appreciate the thought, but you're new here, and I just can't see how you could make an impact in the time between now and the election this afternoon. In any case, if you're interested in the election, go and have a chat with Equitia, the Vestal Priestess. She'll be overseeing proceedings.
Here's the thing. You say that about like how I couldn't have an effect on the election before this afternoon. If I would have chosen soldier and not archaeologist, that's when you just like, so you're telling me this Glock, like, you know, I could probably make a little bit of a difference in the next couple hours. I'm Probably bring this whole city crashing down upon us. Okay. Interesting talking with you, Horatius.
All right.
Don't know. You're so hypothetically loyal. The one thing that makes me question that is we didn't really get to talk about Cynthia and Scintilla. And maybe I'll learn more information that means that I can come back to you on the topic of them. I'm not sure. Sculpture of Ares, the Greek god of war, known to the Romans as Mars. Okay. A small vial containing a rudimentary perfume made from flowers and oil. Brass jar containing a sort of powder for makeup. Your diary. This is Cynthia's journal. Okay, we'll read that here in a second. Cynthia's chest has denarius in it as well. A brass mirror. Okay. I'm wondering how we're still in that phase, right? Early in the game. Early in a game that we're going into blind. Like I said, I'm trying on different hats. I'm like, what kind of game is this going to be? Is this going to be we stealth around and learn things from people's journals that then allow us to ask them new questions and get new information or put down new suspects? Is this all just sort of window dressing to sort of like paint the reality of their lives? Or does it matter? Do I need to be Tom Clancy, Splinter Cell? Do I need to be Splinter Cell, like only reading stuff when people aren't walking past? We'll find out. And how concerned should I be with committing a crime, like sinning, like snooping? Is this fine, or am I going to ruin everything? Your diary. Today, my father suggested I write a diary as a way of keeping myself occupied while we all deal with the sudden and devastating disappearance of my sister. As a dutiful daughter, of course I shall oblige. The following pages contain my innermost secrets. I know you're reading this, Father. I may be young, but do not think me stupid. We're all entitled to our secrets. Cynthia. I'm going to write down knows she's being watched by Cynthia. One of the things that has possibly popped up so far is the if they have, this like adopted daughter versus potential biological daughter thing. The game is seeding, maybe that'll be a reason for them to not get along, or a reason for conflict. Ceramic ink jar made from soot and water. Vial, mirror. Yeah, we're starting to get to that point. Re-talk to Cynthia?
Do I need to ask Horatius to escort you out of here? Get out, you horrid barbarian.
I was standing in here right before. Oh, wait. That's the line from earlier because I pissed you off. Okay. Great. Excellent. Okay. Well, we can jump. Just real quick, let's see if there's any secrets around here. Produce bowl. Carrots are purple as they were before modern orange carrots were cultivated. Interesting. Okay. Purple carrots. I don't know that I knew that. Go for the shrine. Who are you?
Ave.
Oh, it's Cynthius. Ave. I'm going to talk to him.
Ah, you've returned. Do you have any news about your investigation?
Okay, we have new dialogue options. Interesting. We've spoken with you a bunch already, but what's to hurt us doing more? What's your story, Cynthius?
Sextus Sentius Imperiosus is my name, though magistrate is the proper way to address me.
Oh, sorry.
Before I wound up here, I was a decurion in the cavalry of Imperial Rome, helping protect civilization from the barbarians.
What's a decurion?
It's a cavalry officer. I had 30 men under my command. This was my uniform.
You look like you belong on a chariot. Why are you still wearing it?
As magistrate, I usually wear a toga, but today I may need to survive long enough to create the portal for you, so it seemed prudent.
How did you end up here?
My men and I were at the Emporium in Rome as honor guard for a visiting dignitary arriving upriver by barge. Now, the port is usually bustling, but just as our guests arrived, waves of people began running toward the river from streets and alleyways in every direction. They were trying to escape a terrible fire. Unfortunately, the crowd sent my horse into a panic, and I remember it losing its footing by the water's edge.
So
the next thing I knew, I was waking up on a riverbank not far from here in the company of some stranger. I went looking for my horse and discovered that lonely temple. You can probably figure out the rest.
that makes two people who were in Rome on the day of a fire who fell into the river. I'm going to start a new section in my notebook on the past, and we'll figure out if other people's stories match that. How did you come to be magistrate here?
I was elected 7 months ago, uncontested because of my command experience. Since then, there's been growing agitation for another election. They're supposed to be annual, but I agreed to hold it sooner, hoping it would placate my constituents. Unfortunately, it just seems to have emboldened certain elements instead.
Sure.
Very well.
How about... Do you know a way out of here?
If I did, I'd have led these people out of here already.
What do you think of the golden rule?
I've had plenty of time to think about it. Let me see if I can sum up my thoughts. I've always considered my guiding star to be the well-being of the Roman people. Our survival and prosperity have always hinged upon honoring the peace of the gods, the sacred accord between the gods and the people of Rome. Give the gods what they want and we all prosper. Dishonor them and we all die. It's as simple as that. The real enemy in this place is not the golden rule, but human failings. The temptation to slide into degeneracy, greed, and hubris. I trust that answers your question.
Yeah, that does. I'll ask the other questions
Thank
later.
you. I'll be waiting here for news.
I want to get a better sense for the rest of the town. Okay, you look like you're in the middle of something, right? Like in the middle of running from something? Yep. So you turn your head to look at me. There's the Shrine of Apollo. Horatius is back. Okay.
Fear is proof of a degenerate mind.
Fear is the mind killer. Interesting. I like that they have voices. It sort of means, like, hypothetically, their sort of, you know, soul or what have you would still be stuck in there, which makes this a, like, eternal hell for people. A great fire. Okay, this is where we're going, to speak with Lucretia. Let's look for any plaque. Oh, was about to say, gotta look for any plaques. I'm an archaeologist after all. The many shall suffer for the sins of the one. We know what that means. Any other plaques? Really quickly, is there an FOV setting or a... no. And I also want to turn up voice volume just a little bit more. Done. Okay. The Shrine of Apollo. Hi, you must be Lucretia.
Give me a moment. Sorry I'm such a mess. I just lost a patient and a dear friend. Julia. She was a good woman.
Okay. Yulia with an I or a J? Yulia? with an I, maybe. Isn't that an old Roman thing? Like, I could be pronounced as J, like IU could be pronounced as JU. Maybe I'm misremembering something. What happened?
She was poisoned. She came in here frothing at the mouth. Normally, I'd treat her with resin of silphium, a rare plant which is perfect for this sort of thing. And I knew Dacius had some at his market stall, right around the corner. So I ran over there, but he just looks at me with this evil smile and says, "That'll be 1,000 denarii." There was no way I could afford that, and he knew it. Then that toad shrugs and says, "Supply and demand. I guess you don't value your friend's life that highly." Anywhere else, I'd just pay a thug to steal it from his stall, but there's no way I can do that down here with the golden rule. So all I could do is come back here and just watch her die. I kept on apologizing. And now I'll never know who poisoned her, or how they managed to do it without breaking the golden rule, or why she cursed that snake's cruel black eyes with her dying breath.
That snake's cruel black eyes as she died. Okay, interesting. So this is an interesting philosophical problem set before us. Withholding a life-saving drug is not a sin in the eyes of Big Pharma or in the eyes of the Golden Rule. However, stealing from a market might be. Okay. Interesting. Snake's cruel black eyes. Is there something I can do to help?
Well, unless you have the power to bring someone back from the dead, there's really just one thing you can do. Get me that silphium resin. I'm going to have another patient in here soon. Could be in the next day or in the next hour. And I will not allow this to happen again. I don't care how you get it, but you have to make it happen. Because if I lose another patient this way, I swear to the gods below, not even the Golden Rule will stop me from marching up to that Genetricum fututor and scratching his eyes out.
That's that word again. Genetricum fututor. And scratching his eyes out. It looks to me, and it's really slight, but that's a different color. I wonder if that's a thing I can figure out eventually. Genetricum fututor? Genetricum fututor. Question mark. Horatius and Lucretia both talked about it. One in reference to a thief, the other in reference to this person. Maybe it's a swear. Maybe it's an ancient Roman swear. Cool. I have to say, I've had a little scratch, a little itch in the back of my brain this whole time playing this game. And every time we talk about the Golden Rule, and I'll keep thinking on it, but I have thoughts. This is reminding me of something. I have thoughts on it. Yeah, sorry, my brain's going a million miles a minute. Okay, I'll see what I can do. What's your story? I'm sort of under the my hypothesis at this moment, by the way, is that helping someone like Lucretia will allow us to have more information. Like, Lucretia will then be more willing to give us information. So we'll talk to Lucretia now, then do the thing, come back, see if we get more information or clues or something. We'll see. Generally, in a game like this, helping is not its own reward. Helping leads to another reward, too. In real life, helping is its own reward. Be kind to your neighbors. What's your story?
I'm Lucretia, and I'm going to be straight with you. I'm not a physician. This is Nevia's clinic. I've just been filling in ever since she disappeared. I'm tired and out of my depth and miserable all the time. But I'd rather take this on myself than let one of you lot mess it up.
That's a funny version of a Hippocratic oath. Navia. Okay, how did you end up here?
My husband and I moved to Rome from Caesarea. He embraced the Roman way more than I would have liked, and turned into an awful philanderer. I would have divorced him and demanded the return of my dowry, but I knew he would sooner have me killed than give me my right. So I waited for the right time to take what was mine and disappear. And then the fires came. As he prepared to evacuate our villa, I gathered our most precious belongings, coins and gemstones, and the moment his back was turned, I ran. I could barely see for the smoke, and the streets were full of people trampling each other. I ran for the river, like everyone else, and leapt in. The next thing I remember, I was waking up on a riverbank, not far from here.
Just out of curiosity, when you did that, did you speak to a woman named Karen? Here's the next question on my mind, right? This terrible day in Rome. Everyone runs for the river. But not everyone makes it to the Forgotten City. Not everyone washes up on shore here. Why these people? Why are these people specifically put into this place? Is this a test? Like a almost purgatory-esque test? There are people who might have, like, you know, who in their lives were... I don't want to apply an outside way of thinking to this, but, like, well, you got the people who died and went in the river, and they're going to heaven, and these people going to hell, and then there's these people in the middle who, well, let's stick them in a forgotten city and see how long they can not commit a sin, and then we'll judge them. I'm sorry to hear that.
It's all right. Say what you will about this place. At least my fornicating husband will never find me. And while there's no shortage of snakes here, at least with the golden rule, they have to try to be discreet about it.
Why are you working out of a shrine?
Oh, this shrine was in use as a clinic long before any of us arrived here. Kind of strange to set up a clinic in the temple of the god of disease. But the god who inflicts a curse is also the only god who can undo it. So I suppose praying to Apollo for healing kind of makes sense.
Maybe that means something. Maybe we have to appeal to a god who can undo this golden rule curse. I don't know. Tell me more about Nevia.
Well, she used to run the clinic. She was a midwife, not a physician. But she was the closest thing we had down here. And she was good, too. Until she suddenly lost all interest in us. One day she told me she'd made some profound discovery about the golden statues. This changes everything, she kept saying. But I had no idea what she was talking about. The last time I saw her, the last time any of us saw her, she was muttering to the statues. Like she could talk to them. And then she shut herself in the palace, barred the door from the inside, and nobody's seen her since. She's been gone so long now, we figure she's either dead or up to something so strange that she doesn't want anyone else to know about it. But I really wish I could reach her, because that's the only hope I have of solving a troubling problem, a real thorn in the paw situation. One of my patients is suffering from terrible rheumatism. His joints are inflamed, and he's in constant pain.
Oh, buddy, I'm taking notes. I gotta say, I'm so happy that games like this exist, right? None of the, like, brainless... And listen, no judgment if you play these. I play them sometimes. None of the, like, brainless shoot-'em-up 3 to 5 minute loop of gameplay, serotonin go burr, turn your brain off and play for a couple of hours games. But games where you actually need to take notes. I feel like I'm in class right now, and that's great because I really liked school. I'm so excited to be taking notes. Okay. So, Nevia had a discovery about the golden statues and was trying to talk to them. She's in the palace. Lucretia had a fornicating husband and is trying to save people. Who?
I really shouldn't say. He wouldn't like it. And he's a little bit scary. He's become so irritable that the smallest things set him off, and I worry he'll end up losing his temper and lashing out. And you know what that means. I just know Nevia would know how to treat him, assuming she's still alive. But nobody seems to know how to get into the palace.
Okay, oh my god, the secrets just keep coming. A secret patient with rheumatism. Someone with power and anger. I'll see what I can do.
Thanks, I suppose.
Thorn in the paw. You know a way out of here.
I wish. Some people here need proper medical care, not the half-baked, hanging by a thread excuse for treatment I'm giving them. Just don't get sick or injured here. I'll do my best to treat you, but I'm out of my depth and dangerously short on everything you can imagine.
What do you think about the golden rule?
A city without sin might sound good on paper, but whoever dreamt it up didn't think it through. Maybe it was an attempt to create some kind of utopia. But snakes like Decius will always find loopholes to exploit. And what can we do about it? Absolutely nothing. In some ways, we are worse off because we can't take the law into our own hands.
I have to say, this game has a lot to say about justice and the law and morality versus legality already. I mean, of course, right? Obviously. But it makes me think, I'll be honest, the thing that this game keeps making me think of is and I'm going to get this a little bit incorrect, so bear with me here, and apologies in advance for getting it slightly incorrect, but it's been a couple years since I learned about it. The idea of the like panopticon idea, or which I believe was a like hypothetical type of prison where basically cells are think of like a big cylinder of a building, and the cells all have windows that face inwards, and inwards there's one person watching. So all the cells are like in a circle around one person, and that one person can be looking at any of you, might not be looking at you specifically in your cell, but could be looking at any of you. And the way I encountered this was in some literature classes about basically the idea of like self-policing. If the person could be watching you, but you don't know if they are watching you, then you begin to police yourself, which is kind of what's happening here. Like, the idea of the golden rule is a like similar or parallel thing, maybe, where you have to, or like the decimation is a similar idea where you're not just you're self-policing, but you're also policing everyone else because your fate is tied to theirs. Slightly different. I don't know. It's very interesting. In some ways, we're worse off because we can't take the law into our own hands. Lucretia is almost calling for a sort of vigilante justice. And is she wrong? Would Yulia still be alive? The other thing to note is that Lucretia has called Decius a snake, and Yulia's last lines were that snakes grow black eyes. Snake? Snake? I don't know. I keep hearing the statues whispering. Is that normal?
Oh no. Sorry, I don't mean to worry you, but no, that is definitely not normal. There was one other person who claimed she could hear the statues talking to her.
Yeah.
But that was Nevia, and she went a little mad.
Tell me more about Nevia.
Well, she used to run the clinic. She was a midwife, not a physician.
This is the same dialogue?
Until she suddenly lost all interest.
Yep.
This changes everything. The last time, and then she's been gone so... But I really wish I could reach her. One of... He's become...
Okay. I'll see what I can do. Cool. Can we talk about Yulia?
Sure. What do you want to know?
Okay. All of these are great questions. Do you think she was poisoned or was it self-inflicted?
Do you really want to know? I mean, if somebody poisoned her, then surely they would have broken the golden rule, and so maybe it's best we don't discuss it.
But also, isn't it, if she had poisoned herself, wouldn't that also hypothetically have broken the golden rule? Sentius mentioned suicide as a sin. The thing that I'm a little bit curious about here is whether or not... How omnipotent are the gods looking for sin in this world? I'm going to write that down. Is stealing only a sin if you're caught? Does stealing only activate the golden rule if you're caught? How omnipotent? I guess I'm really looking for omniscient. How omniscient are the gods here? And by that I mean, what can you get away with? Okay. What poisoned her?
Hemlock, I believe.
Okay. I'll take your word for it. Is there any reason she might have wanted to die?
I haven't seen her in months. She's not allowed to leave Malleolas' villa, and they are quite secretive.
So she was in Mal's villa. Okay.
Gladly.
Well, thanks
come
for chatting.
back if you get sick or injured. Day or night, I'll do what I can.
Look for clues around here. Oops, it says locked. Duh. It says locked, but then does that mean that we should look for a key? Like, why would it be interactable?
Apollo keep you safe.
Apollo keep you safe. Medical tools. Barbaric looking. There's that word again. Medical implements, including forceps and shears. There's Yulia. Yulia has nothing on her. Oops, wrong button.
May Apollo keep you safe.
Yep, same to you. And you as well. Medical tools. The other thing that's going to happen here, obviously, is we're going to have to start... At some point, we're going to encounter someone who's lying to us, or who is only telling us a version of the truth or a fraction of the truth. And maybe it's happened already. Wood and rat containing various dried and ground substances. So, mortars and pestles haven't changed in the last two millennia. Perfect. So I guess it's kind of time to start thinking about, you know,
May Apollo keep you safe.
How will we know, and what will we do with that information when we find either contradicting truths or omissions or etc. A large stone statue of Apollo, Roman and Greek god of disease and healing, among other things. Okay. We have leads on leads on leads. I will say, this is interesting. One thing I'm noticing about the quests tab on this game is that, and a lot of games do this, I wasn't sure if this game, to what degree this game would, right? On the quest tab, basically the game is given an opportunity to recontextualize and represent to you the information that it's given you in dialogue. It just directly says, you should figure out how to make Malleolas drop out of the election. I wasn't sure if the game would be so upfront and direct about what it wants you to do, or about what one potential action is, right? It says you'll need to stop him. Like, that's the conclusion I had arrived at, but it's interesting that the game says do it. Not that you have to. The other thing, it doesn't just say do it, it also says how. It doesn't say do it and then lets you figure out how to do it. It says do it, dig up dirt. So it says look for information that you could use to oust him. Okay. Yep, okay. A grate. Stone grate with holes in it. Perhaps there's another layer of the city underneath the forum. Would be interesting. What want to do next? Those are our large goals. Could speak with Decius. I think speaking with Decius is probably the things that... Speak with D's nuts. Decius is probably the thing that makes the most sense. And Decius is right here. So that's good. No, never mind. Decius is around a ways. Okay. 100 meters that direction. Just kind of looking around real quick. Shopping list. A list of things Decius wants to buy once he has escaped. A villa on the Aventine in Rome, a 2-horse chariot, seat on the Senate, 4-horse chariot, villa on the Bay of Naples, 10-horse chariot, 12 slave girls, pale and plump. Yikes. Minerva, the Roman goddess of strategy. Decius is a conniving son of a bitch. I need to figure out how to talk to you guys. I have a flashlight. I always forget. Okay, let's go speak with Decius. We'll come back. We'll explore plenty eventually. Okay. Decius is this way, 76 meters. Decius, where are you? Is it getting dark outside? Or am I just... Holy sh... Where are we going? Are these mines? There is a city underneath this city. Oh my god. Can I die of fall damage here? Oh shit.
Hilarious.
Horatius? Looking a bit troubled there.
Still no sign of Scintilla. And I haven't slept right 3 weeks.
Don't be too hard on yourself. From what I hear, nobody saw it coming. Anyway, I thought you Stoics weren't supposed to worry about things you can't control.
Yeah, but I keep thinking, what if there is something I can do? What if she's out there somewhere suffering, waiting to be found?
Sounds like you're torturing yourself. Leave that for the gods. Try to relax, get some rest. Tomorrow's a new day.
I suppose you're right.
The other thing on my mind, that, you know, among a million other things, is I wonder if we are going to have multiple attempts at this, or if we're going to, you know, or if we should plan on taking multiple attempts to get all this done.
One of these statues is worth
you know?
on the outside.
Of course you do, Decius. Is time passing? I can't tell. Decius. Hello, my friend.
Salve, stranger, and welcome to our idyllic little slice of the Empire. I'm Decius. Terrible shame what happened to Yulia, but we just have to carry on, don't we?
Ah. I was just thinking, it seems late. People are gathering for dinner. Was this a time loop game? Now this is the Skyrim I know and love. That's cool.
Cerberus lifts his triple head and lets out his threefold braying.
Livia, would you stop muttering like Medea over a cauldron? You'll scare away my customers.
Yeah, I need to go to the vote. Sorry. Here I be. This is Galerius, right? Hi, Galerius. Stranger. Where's Decius? Decius is up here still. Time for the vote? Can I talk with you more? Decius looks busy. I should try talking to him again later. It's time for the vote. So if this takes multiple multiple attempts, then we should see Malleolus elected here. That would be my guess. And things start to go to shit. And then in the next time loop, we might, if we fail, we might have an opportunity to make something happen very quickly that could prevent Malleolus from being I love it when a game, I'm not going to name any names because those games are special and I don't want to point too many fingers at them if you haven't played them yourselves. I love it when a game puts you in a time loop and puts gaining knowledge against the flowing of time.
Citizens, we have a
It adds so much
body
good
of
stress.
voters gathered here to elect the city's magistrate. The candidates are Sextus Sentius Imperiosus and Marcus Malleolus Gurges. As agreed, we shall dispense with ballots and candidates will abstain from voting. Let's make this quick. As I say your name,
Okay.
call your vote. I'll start with you, Horatius.
That's a
Sentius, of course.
S for sure.
Georgius,
Malleolus.
Dacius,
Malleolus.
Galerius,
I abstain. I'm just here to observe.
Virgil,
Malleolus.
Rufius,
Malleolus.
and finally, Domitius.
Malleolus. Who else?
Citizens,
I recognize
you
you.
have made your decision. Your new magistrate is Marcus Malleolus Gurges.
Hail, Magistrate Malleolus. I said, hail, Magistrate Malleolus. That's more like it.
Thank you. Thank you. I am delighted and deeply honored to have been elected your magistrate. And now, I make this solemn promise to you, good citizens. Under my leadership, you will finally enjoy the freedom you deserve. No more shall you walk on eggshells, fearing simply to live and breathe, because the tyrant Sentius told you it was forbidden.
Oh, we're fucked.
For my first act as magistrate, I hereby announce a day of celebration to mark the end of an era. The myth of the Golden Rule is no more.
The Golden Rule is real, you idiot.
For his attempt to deceive us all, Sentius is hereby found guilty of treason against the Empire.
Uh-oh.
What? I have committed no crimes.
Uh-oh.
This is madness.
His sentence: to fight for his life in gladiatorial combat against Domitius. Here and now for your entertainment.
You have no idea what you're doing. You're going to get us all killed.
Wait, I exercise my right as a Vestal priestess to pardon him. I will not allow you to do this.
You're showing your true colors now, priestess. Your corruption sickens me. Domitius, ignore her. Proceed.
This is insanity. You'll doom us all.
Lies! It is time the Golden Rule was exposed for what it is. A children's fable, exploited by a treacherous leader to instill fear in all of us.
This is why he's in his gladiator gear. They've been planning this all along.
Shut up, all of you. The magistrate has spoken. I'm going to enjoy killing you, old man.
I have a feeling, yep. I was getting ready to pause because I was like, I have a feeling we're about to. The only thing that makes sense from a writing perspective to have happen after Malleolus says the Golden Rule is a fable is to have the gods intervene and say the Golden Rule is no fable. Tip: breaking the Golden Rule is not the end. Instead of reloading a save, we recommend following the magistrate instead. Is this for the sacrifice, or what's going to happen here?
The
many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
They're arrows? What? We're going to follow back to the shrine and use the portal. This is so cool. Wow. Goodbye, my friend. All right. Let the game truly begin. Limited time, my friends. Loop through time once. It is a time loop game. I love a good time loop game. That is going to do it for this episode of The Forgotten City. Oh boy. My face hurts from smiling. We have learned a lot about the true nature of the game today. and about some of our characters. We have more mysteries than ever. We have, why do the statues whisper to us? Why do they not whisper to other people? How do we stop Malleolus becoming elected? Because that's an obvious and quick end to the breaking of the Golden Rule. Is the Golden Rule real? It sure is. We've got the fate of Yulia at the hand or the eyes of a snake. Lots to figure out. Who is the patient with rheumatism? Mysteries upon mysteries, and I'm imagining we'll just get more and more as we go. I'm gonna need more pages in my notebook. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you tomorrow for another episode of the game. Until then, don't forget to like or leave a positive comment down below. I hope you're enjoying this so far, and I'll see you tomorrow for another video. Until then, bye-bye.